Life had always been a quiet, colorless river for me, flowing endlessly, without warmth or companionship. I wandered the streets of St. Petersburg each night, lost in my own thoughts, feeling as though the city itself mirrored the emptiness inside me. Buildings stood in silence, lamps flickered weakly, and the canals reflected a stillness I felt in my soul. I had no friends, no family, no one to share my days with, and I existed more in my imagination than in the real world. Then, one evening, everything changed. As I walked alone along the familiar streets, I noticed a young woman standing near a canal railing, tears rolling down her cheeks. My heart, which had long been numb, suddenly ached. Something in her sorrow called to me. I approached cautiously, unsure whether I should speak, but unable to turn away. She looked at me with wide, searching eyes, and then softly told me her name.
Nastenka.
She had been waiting for someone who promised to return but never did. I listened quietly, offering no advice, only my presence, feeling a strange, unfamiliar warmth in my chest. The following night, I returned to the same street, hoping to see her again. And there she was, standing under the dim glow of a lamp. We exchanged greetings, hesitant at first, then slowly began to speak. Our words were careful, almost shy, yet they began to form a bridge between our lonely hearts. She shared small details of her life, and I found myself revealing pieces of my own solitude I had never told another soul. With each passing night, our walks through the empty streets became longer. We shared our dreams, our fears, and tiny moments of joy that felt almost sacred in their fragility. I began to notice subtle changes in myself. The sight of her smile brought a warmth I could not explain. I listened more intently to every word she said, remembered every glance, every gesture. The world seemed less empty when she was near. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, I became attached to her presence. I craved the moments when our hands might accidentally brush, when our laughter mingled in the quiet streets. I longed to confess my feelings, yet each time I tried, her thoughts of another man held me back. My love for her was quiet, secret, and fiercely protective. Our conversations deepened with every meeting. We spoke of hope and disappointment, of dreams that seemed impossible, and yet we clung to them together. I found myself imagining a life with her, where even the coldest nights could be brightened by her laughter. She listened to me with an understanding that no one else had ever shown, and I felt a bond growing, delicate and strong at the same time. Nights that were once filled with loneliness now held anticipation, a sense that something real and beautiful had entered my life. And yet, life is never without its turns. One night, she received a letter from the man she had waited for so long. I saw the joy light up her face, heard the excitement in her trembling voice, and my chest tightened with quiet despair. But I could not bring myself to spoil her happiness. I smiled, forcing my heart to bend around the ache, knowing that her joy was more important than my longing. As she read the first lines, her eyes widened, her lips parted in disbelief. The color rushed into her cheeks, and her hand shook so much that the paper fluttered in the night air. "It's from him," she whispered, her voice breaking. "He's back. He wrote that he returned to the city today, and that he will come to find me. He still wants me." Archie the corner, just entering the glow of another lamp, stood a familiar figure, a young man with a dark coat, holding his hat in his hand, looking around as if searching for someone. His posture was hesitant, hopeful. The letter slipped slightly from her fingers. Her breath caught. "That's him," she whispered, hardly able to speak. And then it happened. She ran to him, and I remained alone in the silent streets, the lamps casting long shadows over the cobblestones, shadows that mirrored the emptiness. Returning to my heart, I walked home slowly, the chill of the night brushing against me. But even as loneliness returned, it felt different. The nights no longer seemed entirely void. In her presence, even for a few brief days, I had experienced warmth, laughter, and the fragile beauty of human connection. I realized that love is not always meant to be possessed. Sometimes its value lies in its fleeting nature, in the small moments that touch our hearts and leave a lasting glow. And so, I continue to wander the streets of St. Petersburg, a solitary dreamer carrying the memory of Nastenka with me. My heart aches, yet it is fuller than it was before. The lamps still flicker, the canals still reflect the night sky, but within me burns a small, steady light, a reminder that even in solitude, life can hold moments of unexpected beauty. Fleeting though they may be, I live now with the quiet hope that such moments, however brief, are enough to illuminate even the darkest nights.